Thank you very much to Eddie Cowan and the team at the Met Office. Hey, what a couple of weeks we're having of weather. Tell you what, come to the Isle of Man, it's always like this here, you know. Always, always. Christy DeHaven, what do you have for us?
Well, just a reminder again, because it's coming up to that time, the roads are going to be closing very soon. So, Brule Park, Ramsey to Bungalow closing at 9:15, Bungalow to Craignabar closing at 9:30, and then from 10 a.m. the entire course will be closed. So, if you need to get around, you need to be doing it quickly. A couple of messages coming through as well on Facebook, on our live feed on Manx Radio TT. Gareth says, great racing, great to see Hutchie back again. Chris says, wish good luck to my lucky mates over there, Ernst Wagner, Richard Cook, Andy Wright. Bet you're on the wall going into Ramsey, best place on the course, Chris says. And Mark says, hi, Mark from Douglas is listening down in Kent, just to wish all competitors a safe ride today. Looking forward to being home for it next year. Keep up the good work, guys.
Mark from Douglas, as in
is listening down in Kent.
And I believe my daughter's listening as well.
Yes,
Maya
and
as well.
Maya says, hello, Daddy, I'm listening.
Tell you what, I can't get away from it at all, can I? Monster Energy Supersport race first off, chaps, today, and Michael Dunlop Saturday night, 127.063. That's a marker, isn't it? Kyle?
Yeah, absolutely it is, and Michael's obviously back on the machinery this year from the PTR team. And he's riding under his own banner, his MD Racing banner in today's two races, the Supersport and Superstock race. Yeah, he did put down a bit of a marker with that lap on Saturday, and yeah, I mean, I do think that Michael's very much the man to beat today in the Supersport race. But you know, the opposition's pretty formidable. You've obviously got Dean Harrison, and again, he'll be out to sort of try and make amends for the disappointment of retiring from Saturday's race. You have a few other guys there that look set to be in the mix as well. You've got Lee Johnson, who's gone on the Paget's Honda. Lee might see this as his best chance of getting on the podium, so yeah, I'd expect Lee to have a real go today.
Michael Dunlop, 17:48.9. Dean Harrison, 17:59.7. Connor Cummins, 18:05. Josh Brooks, 18:06. Hillier, 18:07. Dan Neen, unfortunately, 18:09. Putting some good lap times on it. I think he would have been definitely a podium man. I really would have think he would have done all that. And then Peter Hickman as well. Do you know what? I bet he was revving when he got off that bike on Saturday. He was absolutely raging. But Michael Dunlop, Ollie, definitely a man to look at. We're going to see that maybe the 600 Supersport, that record go.
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? The 600 Supersport record is a phenomenal 128.666. Whether that will go today, it may be. It goes back to what we were saying earlier about the outright lap record. If there's a few of them battling, then it is more than possible to see that happen. Supersport has, in recent years, apart from last year when we sort of saw a half, there were a lot of damp patches on the course. Ian Hutchinson has been absolutely unbeatable in the Supersport class. Of course, we've not quite got a fully fit Hutchie this year, and he said a lot of people have said to him, oh, surely Supersport's your best chance, and he actually said no, because the Supersport bikes are a lot more physical to ride in terms of manhandling the bike around the course, whereas you can almost get away with it on the Superbike, he said, by just opening the throttle and having a little bit of a rest. But there's none of that on the Supersport bike, as you stood up for 4 laps. Michael definitely looking the favourite, really strong on a Honda, but as Kyle said, you can't rule out Dean, you can't rule out people like James Hillier, who maybe didn't set a great lap in practice because he's not a practice man, but James will fly out of the blocks on race day, and I think he'll be going into this race with a point to prove too.
Yeah, 13 seconds, I think they're just outside that lap record, Dan Walker. What do you think? Looking at other people there, James Cowton, 9th quickest, Ivan Linton, even quicker as well. Ivan gone quite well. If they get a few retirements, could see a podium for Ivan maybe. Derek McGee, possibly another one. We've got Dominic Herbertson going well, Daly Matheson. And what about the newcomer Adam Lyon, 122.261. Davey Todd, another newcomer, 20th quickest, 121.6. Dan Walker. Yeah,
it's mind-boggling, isn't it? It's what we were saying earlier about the mental capacity that you need to be able to come here as a newcomer and go out and set those sorts of speeds is phenomenal. As Kyle said, they've put in an awful lot of homework, and Milky and Johnny make sure that newcomers now are coming in fully equipped, and they don't take people who aren't going to take it seriously and put the time in. But even still, I mean, that's phenomenal. But just to go back to the lap record, I don't think we'll see it go today. I don't think
second race possibly
in Superstock, but I don't think Supersport will see a lap record go. I don't
50p. 50p standard Manx bet.
Yeah, I think I'd be fairly safe on 50p.
Okay.
I don't. Again, all due respect to all the riders out there, I don't think anyone's going to push hard enough to make it happen. I don't think anyone will need to make it happen.
Okay, and we've got to put this in now. Please gamble responsibly. There you go.
Exactly.
See, I did that. You were being bothered. Looking at the RL360 Superstar, we did have a little mentioning about obviously Lee Kane. Well done to Lee the other day, the fastest Manx sidecar passenger now as well. Obviously in with Johnny Holden, that 170-mile lap. So well done to you, Lee, and we'll speak at length and more darts about that before the racing on Wednesday and of course Friday. Superstar, Michael Dunlop, quickest to gain, 17 minutes 15.604. Again, they got to find 15 seconds to get near that lap record. We didn't think that would happen in the Superbike race. We knew it might, but it did. 131.158. Ollie first off.
Yeah, I mean, again, it all comes down to how the race pans out. Again, we've got a long list of people that can be competitive in this Superstock race. Michael Dunlop hasn't actually been on the pace on the Superstock bike all week until that lap on Saturday. But, you know, he's Michael Dunlop. He's going to be there. I think Peter Hickman is going to be really strong in this Superstock race. I was talking to him at the Northwest 200 about this, and I said, you know, if there's a TT race that you think you can win, which one is it? And he was like, and I said, what about the Superstock? And he had a little glint in his eye. He was second in the Superstock race to Ian Hutchinson last year. The Smiths BMW Superstock bike has been singing all week. Peter's led the stock class in most practice sessions, so that's my tip. But you know, that's not really worth anything. So there's Dean Harrison there as well, and I think Connor Cummins will surprise.
Yeah, I think so too. And the Superstock one's important for the manufacturers too, isn't it? Because obviously, you know, it's okay. It's not like you can go to your local dealer and buy what these guys have got at Superstock, but basically it's effectively the road going version of the Superbike is going to be going. Looking at the rest of the leaderboard, then we've got about 3 minutes to go. Dean Harrison 131.042, Hickman, as you said, 130.82, Rutter 129.7, Connor Cummins 129.5, Dave Johnson 129.2, Gary Johnson as well. Gary's been a little bit quiet and under the radar after a pretty good Northwest 200 for Gary there. He was right up on the sharp end, 128.3, Lee Johnson 128.2, and Hillier rounds out the top 10, 128.1, and Big Sean Anderson as well, Northern Irishman. Know him and his father Howard quite well. He's put in some pretty good times, isn't he, on that Suzuki? Second year for the Suzuki for him now, so yeah, he's going well, isn't he?
Yeah, Sean's been having an excellent TT so far, and he went really well too at Tandragee last month. So you know, it's good to see Sean up there. I heard him saying that he had, you know, they'd made some big steps with the Suzuki from last year, and he's much happier with the balance of the bike, and that's reflected in his performance during practice, and then also in Saturday's Superbike race. I think he was maybe 13th fastest, Chris, on the times for the Superstock race today. So you know, maybe Sean could break into the top 12, possibly even the top 10 if things go his way, and that would be an incredible result for him.
I'm just looking outside here now, and the smell of suntan oil is in the air with people dosing themselves up on Factor 50. That's what I'm going to have to do, because as you know, said Chris, I've had a bit of a haircut. It was getting a bit unmanageable in the morning. That's what it was. So we're hoping for a good day's racing ahead. Obviously, you three guys are going to be ensconced in the press centre, I suppose, not moving anywhere, just listening to us and watching the screens and making notes and drinking coffee and
generally having a jolly good old time. Is that what you're saying, Chris?
Well, yeah, no, but it is, because obviously you think about years ago, you people like JB, John Brown, Norrie White and people like that were doing the job. They'd write the story off, they'd pick up the phone, you know, and they go blah, 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 Jimmy Walker, and people like that be ringing up, do all the jobs, blah, blah, and doing the phone, put the phone down and it's done. Nowadays you goes
yeah,
bang, and it's online like that. How different is the world, you guys?
Yeah,
we've got a minute just to look at this, Dan.
They had a bar in there then.
I know. I know.
Things have moved forwed at the TT, but that's definitely
You got a
a
coffee
backward
machine.
step.
What
If
do you
Simon
want?
Queller's listening to this, a bar would
Wouldn't
be
that be
very
nice,
welcome
wouldn't
in the
it?
press
Yeah.
office, and I'm sure everybody in there right now will be saying this too.
Yeah,
that's a big miss.
17 generation, they'll be like that, wouldn't it? Yeah, please drink responsibly as well. We're going to get into trouble, you lot, talking about gambling and drinking. Right, a couple more bits in, because we have to move on, because we got to finish for the news.
Just a couple messages.
Yeah.
Glenn Irwin is listening in
Oh, hello,
Spain
Glenny.
and says hello to the lads there. So hello to Glenn. Also, we've got Paul listening over in Thailand as well. So people listening all over the place, and he says all the best for the day's racing. And loads of comments still coming in on our Facebook live stream, and you can go back and listen and watch that again, of course, after the programme via the Manx Radio portal.
It's all technological and it's all magical and it's all up in the air, and I don't know how it works.
You don't need to know. It's fine, Chris.
Okay, that's fine, as long as I don't need to know. Oli Rushby from MCN, thank you very much for coming in this morning. Hey, you're out of the sun as well, which is even better, because you're looking a bit red-faced there. You are. I think you've been out too much in the sun. Get some factor 80
I've been enjoying the Manx sunshine,
Good.
I won't lie.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Dan Walker as well, local man from IOMTT.com. Dan, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was waiting for the thank you. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, cheers, you sir. And
He's all about the praise, you know.
no, and also Kyle Whyte from the news. Kyle, thanks for coming in. Nice to see you, guys. Enjoy your day. Enjoy
Thanks,
your
Chris.
races out there. Get yourself into position early. Park sensibly. Take your rubbish home with you. Get the Factor 50 on, and I'll be back on air with the commentary team a bit later on. And from me, Chris Kinley, and from Christy DeHaven, thanks to Alex and thanks to Ben and Chris back at base. We'll hand you back to Manx Radio TT for the news and